Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of the EMPI Insider with your host, Corey Ryder.
Classic days and everything back. All right, guys, we're back. We're live for I would call it a very anticipated episode of the EMPI Insider. And while I know many of you are excited and extremely ready to ask our guest a handful of questions, and I can see the lobby, if you will, is already full of a lot of people asking things and getting stuff ready to go. Eddie Express is on the engineering side today, watching and monitoring, so we'll do our best to get through every single question as quick as we can. We do got some agenda to go through. We do got a lot of questions, and we got some cool stuff to share and hang out. But, without really further ado, I'm going to bring the man of the hour kind of into the show and roll it. So hit it. Man, Ron, thank you, first of all, for coming in and I don't know, just kind of this spur of the moment deal that we talked about like a week ago at cruise night, and now we made it happen.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. I've actually anticipated this. I actually anticipate every day that if I wake up, I get up, and coming down here and hanging out with you guys is pretty cool. But nobody told me I was going to have to answer questions. I mean, whoa.
That's for the appearance fee. I mean, we had to,
no problem.
Just cost a bottle of water and everything else. But there's so much stuff going on. There's so many questions. And I mean, many people are asking about perspectives on, the situation, kind of where we're at. What do you think is coming? And we'll get through all of that as best we possibly can, as quick as we possibly can. So, we got him in a nice air conditioning spot. He's passed the screening inspection. So now we get to, arm's distance ourselves away a little bit and talk cars, man. Talk racing, talk performance, talk history, and let you do what you do best, man.
I'd be happy to. I've got my COVID-19 haircut. I'm not cutting it till the world gets back in the right kind of place. I'm, 2020 has been one of those years, not just for me, not just for the people around me, but for the whole world. And so it's like we're all looking for a change. We're all looking for that to go away or get a vaccine or whatever. And I don't want to get all crazy on you about it, but I'm really dying to go drag racing, go to a car show, see all my friends, go see the Powder Puff Girls of drag racing, because, man.
There's a lot. I mean, there's so many things that have transpired in this year, and we don't even want to go down that rabbit hole for say, but we want to, my whole thing with this show and to get with you is to just talk, hey, we can't talk about the past, right? All we can do is look forward for the future, tell people what you're working on, what you're kind of building. We're going to answer a bunch of questions. I mean, obviously you're the big head honcho and the cheese on the bug inside of stuff and what's going on over there. And I had a great conversation with Andy last week.
Yeah.
And it's great to just see that we have plans for the future and everything's going.
We hopefully will get back to having events, a bug in and a couple of drag days where we can have a swap meet again and have a car show and a drag race. And so we're all dying to have that happen. I'm excited about the new deal, the Fast Four Cartel deal. I'm putting a nitrous kit on the Hunsaker race car.
And, there you go.
And we want to go out there. We missed the opening event there in Medford, Oregon. We weren't quite ready in time, and without testing, we didn't want to just go out there and flop on it, because we got a pretty good hot rod. And we figure with a little extra power on it, we can run with those big turbo guys. I know Brian Marvin, I'm looking forward to lining up next to him and seeing his beautiful wife, Joy, out there backing him up. I can't watch too much. Don't want to get distracted. So, for me, it's my race car. I'm still cruising around in Sunny. As a matter of fact, we're going to go tonight.
Yeah, we're
to Duke's,
stoked.
And they have to be closed again. We just all have to work around that. So we'll wear our masks, we'll socially distance, and we'll talk cars.
Parking lot pimping at its finest. I mean, we'll sit there and hang out,
right.
work on our sunburns and talk about the things that we enjoy. And did I catch that right? Are you kind of calling out Marvin right there a little bit? Or you hearing it first?
I'll tell you a story. I told them once when they would always come. We went to the Buggerama, and I told them I watch Joy, and she's fun to watch, and she goes out there in those little shorts and those boots and backs them up. I said, you know what? It's a good thing I'm not in your class, because I could get real distracted, if I was supposed to stage my car. Well, now I've decided we're going to come try to do that. And if I'm lucky enough to get up and run against Mr. Marvin, I think it would be exciting, a lot of fun, and don't get distracted, Ron.
Focus. So you have a little sticker on the dash there.
Yes.
Well,
I have a credo about my drag racing. It's one lane, one light, mine, and don't think about the other side. So
that's awesome. Hey guys, so we're busy watching this stuff. We're seeing all the comments come through. Thank you so much for checking in. It's been awesome to see already. Get those questions ready. We're reaching through. We're trying to monitor a little bit. We kind of did a little something special this week, and we're trying to stream a little bit through Instagram. But, again, it's not the most optimal situation for us. We do encourage you guys to log in. If those that don't have Facebook, use our EMPI Insider YouTube channel, as well as the EMPI Insider Facebook page, because we do get a lot of people having say, can't hear you, can't do this, can't do that. But Instagram is, the outcast, if you will. So it doesn't always make the best for streaming guests and for what we like to do and use. So if you don't have a Facebook account, jump on over. Go ahead, Eddie.
So we had 2 questions already come in. One is concerning the little buses on the table.
That didn't take very long.
No.
So
I had nothing to do with it.
So somebody already spotted it. These are a little sneak peek. This is an artist proof. I just received these today. So one of the things that you guys have seen, many of the new diecast cars that are coming out that we're putting out, and that's kind of my little pet project that I really enjoy doing. But these are going to be available through M2 Toys. It's going to be like a 3-piece set. This bottom one, don't mind this one here. This will be a super chase, only 750 made, and 1/64 scale. And these are really cool.
Is that a beetle? Is that orange?
It's an orange bug.
The underdog?
Kind of like so how fitting.
It does look like the underdog.
So
yeah.
that's kind of how fitting.
Hey.
This wasn't just strategically placed here just for you. So, but we're having some fun. Definitely cool to see, the old inch pincher bus. It's kind of set up from the days of old. We're really trying to play, homage where we came from.
Just don't put that one too close to this side. If it's missing at the end of the night, I don't know anything about it.
Well, it just so happened that I know a guy that knew a guy that has a partying gift for you for participating. So it's part of the appearance fee, right?
Wow.
But no, it's really cool. And thanks guys for noticing. I mean, that's awesome. What's the other question?
The other question was, when do you think EMPI will be back at ATCO?
I mean, we were going to go to ATCO this year. I mean, it's another unfortunate event. I mean, we are the sponsor for the Heritage Series, which we were pumped. I mean, that was one of the races that I personally was going to travel to, and it was bummed. It bummed me out. I mean, we were going to go there for the Waterfest event, and I'm just bummed at ATCO in general. I don't think it's going to be around much longer, and it's, you guys
support your local drag strip.
You hit it
seriously.
Exactly.
It's anytime you can.
You got to get out there. At the end of the day, guys, I can't stress it enough. It's $20 or $25. And you know what? Right now, how many of you guys would pay $50 or $60 for a tech card? It's like I saw a couple of Facebook groups and stuff like that. Guys are complaining about $100 tech card. It's like, guys, there's no gate, there's no admission fees. These guys are trying to live and feed their families and everything else on what comes through that gate. So I know many of us would be willing to drop $100 just to go out and make some test passes and to get scratch that itch. So support your local tracks. Like Ron said, get out there and do your part, write letters, and do everything you can to support. You send them a message, see what you can do to help. I encourage every single one, because the sport without activities, without active people supporting it, not just raising and yelling, but physically doing their part to support it, it will not continue. I mean, you got to support these tracks, and ATCO being one of them, these builders and everything else going around it. It's not going to last long. I mean, we're going to look what Sacramento is going to happen, and Bakersfield's only going to be a few years behind that. And it's as sad as it sounds. I mean, you've lived through a couple of these.
Yeah. Orange County International Raceway, Ontario Motor Speedway, the original Fontana Raceway, the Colton Drag Strip, Lions in Long Beach. Boy.
Just a couple?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Carlsbad. I mean, Carlsbad was my go-to.
Carlsbad, where we had the DKP drags.
Yeah. Who are those guys? No, I was kidding.
Those are my brothers,
No,
and I'm so grateful that the second generation happened and the third generation happened to let an old man still be able to hang around with them and be a Panzer, because it's pretty special. It's something else to be a member of. Really, the number one Cowlick club in the world.
Well, I mean, you didn't become the Godfather, right? Of Cowlick for the moniker.
It's not just me. I'm the Godfather because I'm still hanging around, but there's a lot of guys from way back when that were involved too, and I could name names and blah blah blah. But it's a lot of us VW freaks loving it and hanging into it. So it's the reason that it's so big. I mean, I've been all over the world, Southeast Asia and Europe, and the events are huge, and it would blow you away. I just got back from Australia last year when you could still travel, and it's amazing. The VW scene is so big everywhere.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, I got to spend some time with you at European Bug-In last year, and that's a trip that I will never forget. But to watch and the influence and that DKP has and has had for so many years, and there's many other great car clubs out there too. But there's still some legendary. I mean, the OGs are the OGs at the end of the day, and that's all there is to it. And it's really cool to see that the passion and the fire is still there, especially for you. I mean, you're the one pushing everybody's buttons to get them out there.
There's guys that are into custom. There's vintage clubs. There's bus clubs. The scene is huge. I just happen to be kind of a favor of the Cowlick Club.
Yeah. A little partial, I guess. I mean, we got one of those in this Four Walls too with Rick Sadler and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and so, Henry.
Henry's a Deke.
Yep.
So
he's love the Dekes.
Whoa.
Yeah, but those guys are cool too, man. And that's what you guys, and I profess it and I try to preach it here all the time that you've got guys like you and Henry that are, you'll walk up to him at a parking lot and you took Sonny out and you want to talk about the car.
Yeah.
And it's like almost infectious for everybody around you to be a part of that. So, it's cool. I want to know, and people are asking too about that Indonesia trip that you and Gary Berg went on, correct?
Yeah, it was very cool. A really nice gentleman, Yanto Widodo. I hope I said that right, Yanto.
Fast 3 times.
He brought us over. He had a bunch of Berg parts he'd been hanging on to for about 20 years. So we got to work together for the very first time. It was kind of amazing. I worked for Gary's dad, Gene Berg, about half a century ago. And Gary was one of with Clyde and Doug. I call them the buckwheats because they'd come in the morning and Dolores would make them buckwheat pancakes for breakfast, and we'd be working. So we go way back, but Gary and I to work together was a lot of fun. And in a foreign country, and Indonesia is an amazing place, and the scene is huge, and the people are fantastic. And you say Cowlick, but Cowlick is all over the world.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
It really was neat to kind of watch at a distance. And see. And I know you guys didn't have the most optimal working conditions at times.
No, it was pretty funny. We had to imagine some tooling to get things done, but we got it done, and it actually started up and didn't leak, and so we didn't have a dyno to run it on, but we were pretty happy. And I've talked to him later, and it's in a car now. It's running. It's pushing something around town, and it's a pretty nice little hot rod. So it was a great experience. And Yanto, I know I said it before, but I want to thank you so very much, man. You made it for me. It was a fantastic trip and one I'll never forget.
That's awesome. I saw some of the cool trinkets you guys brought back and different things. And
yeah, I sent pictures back. I've been really fortunate because of my association with that little car to go all over the world and to be in Germany and Wolfsburg, and to kind of get to go where not normal, I guess I'm not normal, but normal people get to go. We got to go underneath the factory and got to see the cornerstone. And I've had some real dear friends like Dieter Landenberger, who's was the director of the Porsche Museum. We went and got to go on Monday when it was closed, and then we got to go at Wolfsburg and go in the museum there when it's closed, so you can really actually get up and close and personal with the cars. And I also want to thank, I'm thanking people. Keith Soom, my good friend from England, who is like been my passport around Europe, has carried this old man around and taken me lots of places. And so, Keith, I don't know if you're listening. Could be a little late for you, Daddy, but thank you.
Yeah, it was funny. There's some of you guys take a look at some of the pictures that we posted too. And I think one of my favorite pictures that I did snap while at the EBI was the picture of Keith still rocking his EMPI Eliminator team pants. The only guy that could probably still fit into those things.
Yeah.
But still rocking them with pride, man. So that's cool.
Yeah. Those were formerly seen only on the Schley brothers at the drag strip. And, back in the day, we'd show up at the Winter Nationals and there'd be all of the VW racers would pit in one area. There'd be Darrell and the Schleys and John Smith and the Anderson brothers and the Iguana and the Commonwealth car and Dave Vanderbeek and the Underdog and Rich Bays and his Fiat, and we'd all hang out together, and it was a lot of fun. So, but I don't want to drag way too far back.
No, that's what people love. That's the thing that especially for us, we really want to embrace and bring light to it. I mean, a lot of times it's only the real OGs that kind of get it. And for me, I want to share it with guys that maybe don't really know the story and don't know things. I mean, we brought our team, and we talked about it before. We brought all the team here on the marketing side of group, in my group, and we brought them over to the Schley Museum and took the long tour, with Mark.
That I don't want to claim all the credit for it, but it's kind of my fault. There's a museum because, like with Darrell, I beat on the Schley brothers and said, you got to come. I went to the first European bug-in. I came back and I started beating on my old buddies and saying, you got to come. You won't believe. They already know who you are. They've seen the magazines. It's an amazing scene. And so I finally got them to go. They came with me. We went 11 of us. Roger Crawford came along, Hunsaker and his two sons. I brought my two sons. There were 11 of us. But the long story short is, the Schleys came back and they turned into maniacs. They started the museum. They're at my shop every day. Hey, we need one of these. You remember we used to weld up the rock? I think I might have one over here. And they're going through the parts. And at FAT, we used to have kind of an archive of old stuff. We called it the gold mine. It was old used parts upstairs. And they would rummage through it. And I gave them my old helmet from the Underdog and my fire jacket, and it just started a landslide. And then Darrell said, I got some stuff, and the Anderson brothers, and everybody followed suit. And if you haven't been there and you get over here, they're very kind to do that. You need to take the tour. The problem is we haven't had any events. If we have an event and you can weasel your way into the Schley Museum trip, don't miss it.
Yeah, it really is memorable. And if you truly are a fan of this hobby and this sport, and you want some vintage history, not just about the VW drag racing side, but just history and life, man. Yeah. It's like, the history of his grandfather and the history of his mother, and there's just so much stuff, and they've been so open about everything and just in
amazing.
And they're both great human beings. And I'll tell you, the kids are a chip off the block, man. I have a great time with Chad too. So
Aaron and Chad and Byron. I got all three names right.
Here's your popsicle stick.
Oh boy.
So we've got stuff coming through. They talk about, of the current world shows, what has been one of your favorites to attend?
I tell you, the Volksworld show at the horse track in England is one of the most fantastic that I've ever been to. It's the horse stadium, or whatever you call it, the grandstand. That's it. It's like 5 different levels, and they'll have different types of cars on every level. So that's a fantastic one. The show in Jakarta was amazing. The European bug-in, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is a fantastic thing. Cobus Cantrain and Mike Walravens and Freddie Peters originally, and then Cobus went on to become totally all wrapped up in Porsches, which I guess that's okay. But it's a distant related, and actually I have one too, but a distant cousin of the Volkswagen. But Freddie and Mike have done a fantastic job, and it's every couple of years, and they hook it up with a vintage show, either Bad Comberg or my favorite vintage show. If you're a vintage guy and you haven't been to Hesse-Oldendorf in Germany, which is usually in the last week of June, and it's next year, hopefully, if the world gets back to sort of being somewhat on a normal tilt. If you're a vintage guy, you got to go. It's unbelievable. The whole town gets behind the Grudmans who put it on. It's amazing. Words can't hardly describe it. If you see it, when you walk down the street in one block and there's split windows as far as you can see on both sides of the street, and then you say, oh, well, I always like that one color of green they made. Oh, look, there's 7 of them of that color of green next to each other. So I don't want to just overrate it, but it's unbelievable. And then one street will have buses, barn door buses, as far as you can see, and there'll be 356 Porsches, not A, B, or C. Plain 356, the really early cars are there, and they come from all over Europe. So,
wow,
don't miss it.
That's unbelievable. There's just I'm just watching the feed going on, Ron. I'm trying to filter through it, so guys, bear with me. There's so much stuff going on, and feel free, Eddie, to jump in at any time to get some of these questions going through. Victoria Whitehouse checking in.
Oh, hi, Victoria.
So many neat things to do, and
rattling dubs, I think.
We had Lucas Hand saying, man, we sure miss Ron in the desert. Haven't seen him. Haven't had to feed him at the Gears Pit for a while.
Yeah, every now and then I do think about that. I spent a lot of years, somewhere around 30-something years, going to the desert all the time because my partner, Greg Aronson, known for the famous white car, and our shop, we kind of found our niche. We started out as a VW street car, hot rod gasser shop and built motors for a number of years, but we kind of got interested in sand buggies and off-road race cars, and it was like we found our niche. We were very fortunate. We won Score Engine Builder of the Year, I think 10 or 11 times. We had some great customers, some great people who made us look good. I'll tell a quick little story about off-road, and I won't hang on it. The first time we went out, we had a guy, a younger guy, and he wanted to race Class 9. And Class 9 those days was a 1,200 cc limit, 1 2-barrel, and single shocks, kind of like a combo of the Challenger and the 1.2 1600, now a little more motor. But anyway, we went out for the first time in Barstow, and this was before they started. The malls weren't there, and they ran up a hill, and there's a bunch of big ditches and stuff. And here's this kid coming with our motor, our first time, foot to the floor. It's going, and it doesn't lift, right? And I turned to Greg. We were about 3/4 of the mile up. Pardon my French. I said, we're fucked. We'll never see this again. We'll never see this guy again. And guess what? He won the race. And from there, it was onward and upward. And we had lots of guys. We had guys that ended up being trophy truck champions. I don't need to go through all the names, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, long story short, one of these days I'm coming out to the desert, and yeah, you will have to feed me, and I will drink your beer if you have good beer, not that American stuff, and we'll have a good time. So thanks for the question.
Yeah, that's cool, Lucas. I mean, how many? Okay, here we go. I'm going to put a poll up on our IG for old time's sake. Can I get Ron to be a co-driver in my Class 11 with me?
Yeah, let me tell you a story about that too. How about this? 9 times in all those years, I rode with a 2-seat guy. It would either be a 2/1600 or an open 2 or a 2-seat 10. 9 different times I rode with him. The guy won. 9 different guys. Every time I rode.
You're in.
And finally, I quit. I said, that's it. I'm done. I didn't want to ruin the record.
No, that's good.
It was just happenstance and chance,
I'll take the gamble, so.
But I rode with Dave Bonner, who works in CarTech now, worked for me for a lot of years, and is a great guy. And if you go to CarTech, he's the guy to talk to get information. But I rode with him in Riverside. Remember when we used to go to the Riverside Grand Prix? And I ride in his 2/1600, and the visor broke loose, and it was flopping. I grabbed it, pulled it off, and hung on to it. And he over the radio goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "I guess I am. I got the visor. Let's keep going." And we won.
That's awesome.
I was younger then.
Well, I mean, that's the stuff that I love it. I mean, that's, I can sit there and get lost. I mean, you know, the night of VBI, just sipping on some really good provided beverages and just hearing the war stories. That's, this is what I look at stuff like this, Ron. I mean, I for what it is, and we have the EMPI Insider and everything else, and I love it. But this stuff, for me, this is recorded. So this is live, this is video, this is stuff that we can edit, this is stuff that we'll have forever. Whether it's, I'm here at EMPI or gone or whatever happens in the future, but we'll have it forever. And these are the memories and the stories that I cherish. I mean, I really do. So
I'm having such a good time in the VW world. I'd like to stay forever. I know I can't, but I make use. That's why this year is such a bother for me, and why I wear a mask and I social distance. And no matter what your political affiliation, I don't care about that. All I care about is that we work together to end this so that we can go back to doing all the shit we love, all the things that make it so special to be a VW freak. And you guys know who I'm talking to. You're all out there.
Exactly. Hey, Corey Max checking in from Indy and says, hey, man. Great story. I figured Corey, I know you're.
And I want to say, I'm so sorry, dude, man. I watched. I don't know what went wrong with the car. I'm sure something went wrong, but it was very cool. Corey Mack got out of the car and they interviewed him, and he had a JC mask on. That was Volkswagen roots, dude. And you're the guy that all of us VW racers look up to. You're the guy that went out there and went to that badass shit. And we all think we'd like to do it, but we know it takes a lot more than thinking you'd like to do it. But anyway, got this weekend coming. Get it all together, brother. I'm really looking forward to it. I won't miss it.
Yeah, we'll post again about it. I mean, for those of you guys that didn't know, Fox is doing a really kind of a one-off deal. They worked a deal with NHRA to kind of, get jumpstart, kickstart, promote, whatever, but they're doing a special Indy race. And everybody knows that Indy is kind of the holy grail, those like favorite grounds.
The Nationals.
Yeah. So
and Corey Mack has done pretty well at Indy in the past.
Yeah, he's done quite well. I remember him. I think he beat the Sarge there for his outing for the win. So
yeah, that ain't bad.
but they're doing it live on Fox. I mean, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. I mean, Fox Channel 11, our local broadcast affiliate, you can watch live from Indy, and it was really cool. And they did a damn good job, because that whole thing with Corey and for those of you guys who really nerd out on the race car side of stuff, especially for fuel, top fuel cars, they need the fuel to get down the track and to actually wait and to idle for 10 seconds longer. That it seems like an eternity. They're burning up pounds, and I don't know if they got enough to get down the track. So it's pretty
guarantee
cool.
Corey wasn't happy sitting in there. The thing wouldn't back up, because backing up is part of running those things. So
it's cool, man. So many people checking in. Daniel, thank you so much. Don Leith says hello. That's my slot.
Hey, Don, open that place up, brother. Go up. The manager at Fontana Raceway, that's Don for you. What a nice guy. What a great guy. Works so well with us on the bug end. Yeah. I only wish we were working together this year.
Yeah, Don, we're all pulling for you here, man. We want to see that stuff open back up.
Yeah.
And I had a great treat. Kind of got to race slot cars with him the other night. So it's always fun to, to learn from one of the best, not slot car guys, but just a good human being and loves
racing. I tried
racing.
to avoid that. Doug Berg was giving me the hustle about a year ago. Oh, come on, man. You got to come racing with us. I go, dude, I'm working hard enough on my race car. I don't need to stay up late at night working on a little car. But, maybe one of these days when I can no longer, push the pedal, pull the lever, wake up on the starting line and get down the track. Okay, then I'll take a little one. But right now,
it scratches the itch, man. I'm telling you, it really does. Because we've talked about this a little bit on the show before, but we had like 130, 140 cars.
Yeah.
And you got to tune them, you got to set them up, and no glue, this and that. You can really dork out, but it's the competitiveness, it's the camaraderie, it's the shit talking that's a lot of fun. And you know what? You get to hang out with some cool dudes, and
it's drag racing.
Yeah. You get out of the house and the beat's sitting home humming and hawing. Rick Meredith checking in for us too.
Hey, Rick.
So it's cool. It's really neat to see
Deeks.
Yeah. It's really neat to see everybody kind of coming out and giving them an outlet, right? It's like, let's give some positivity. Let's talk racing. Let's talk shop. And, while we're sitting at home, some people are sitting at home, give them some positive stuff to do. And we thank you. You guys were super stoked about tuning in and whatnot. Kind of brings me to another point. I know Lucas did talk off-road, and this guy obviously knows a little bit about engine building and everything else on the off-road side of stuff. We do have the EMPI Class 11 shootout, and we'll show this here a little bit. We'll show it to that camera right there. There we go. EMPI Class 11 shootout at Glen Helen this Friday night, 6 o'clock, and then Saturday morning bright and early for the More Racing off-road shows or off-road racing organization. And so Class 11 on the motocross track should be pretty awesome.
This is how much I know about off-road race engines. I ended up building grandkids motors for guys that were the son of guys that were, I did 3 generations, the same, so cool. Same surname. So I was around long enough, and it's really funny nowadays. Here we are, and I'm retired for a couple of years now. We're heading towards 3. Wow. And I have people call me every now and then and say, dude, I want you to build me a motor. I go, no, there's a lot of people out there that can still do it. No. I've always wanted you to build me a motor. I go, dude, you had 51 years to get that done. Sorry. And it's because, not that I don't know how to do it still, not that I don't like doing it, but the one thing in your whole life, no matter if you're a VW freak or whatever you're into, you can never replace is time. So I'm going to do what I want with my time.
Right on.
Unfortunately, I'm in a good enough place that I don't have to do it for money, because the struggle for the legal tender is like, all consuming. Yeah. When I have 2 sons, when they graduated college that I put them through, I said, here it is. Here's Dad's 2 pieces of advice in your whole life. If you can find something you love to do, and you can also make enough money at it, you'll never work a day in your life, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
never woke up and said, I got to go to FAT. It's like, I got to go to the speed shop today. What's happening? Oh, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing that, So it was always good times. So anyway, find those. And my 2 sons are doing a pretty good job of it. So. Neither of them are Volkswagen nuts, oddly enough, but
you're driving the enthusiasm though enough, and that's the neat part about it.
They're car guys, but they're on a different track,
Yeah, well, we won't hold that too much.
Yeah, no,
time, right?
No, I don't like rice rockets. I like racing them, but
like beating them. So how is the race car coming along? Somebody's asking right now. How's the
race car is sitting there ready to go test. We have a brand new. Thank you, Jay Schumacher. Clutch management system that's really unique, just like on Joe Maestas' car. And so we're excited about going out and getting that worked out and in a super street trim. But we want to put nitrous on it. We want to go race the Fast 4 cartel. I don't know if we'll make Reading at the end of August, but I'm praying and hoping that we'll be able to test over the next few months, and that next year it's way better and we can go back racing again, because I'll be 75 next year, but I feel like I'm still capable. I remember Ron Loomis told me a few years back, he listened to me go by and he goes, damn, that thing sounds like an automatic. And I said, well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I said, yeah, I can still pull the lever. Vertigate helps. I remember we put the Vertigate in. I said, this is legal? This can't be legal. This is like cheating. But anyway, and speaking of the car in Super Street trim, I'm hoping that Joe and Dave and Doug and I can go out and battle again. And there's a rumor that maybe Roger's coming back next year. And hopefully, Victor, you'll get your car all together, because we're down to about 3 or 4 regular Super Street cars. Of course, nobody raced at all this year. Yeah. Everything got canceled. But yeah, I'm even crazy enough. I went to the first South Carolina drag night, and I ran in pro stock, and I was number 3 qualifier, and I was 180 pounds heavy. And they kept wanting to weigh me every time it came around the lanes. I go, really? Okay, man. I said, where'd you think I got rid of 180 pounds? I said, I'd have to get out of the car to do that. So anyway, we had a lot of fun. We went 1 round. Hey, drag racing is drag racing. And I hope they hang on to Bandamere, because Bandamere's in a little bit of trouble in Denver. Yeah. Because if I get a chance, I'm going back to Denver to race the Colorado Bug-In, because those people are the nicest people on the planet, and they treated us Volkswagen so good. And the trip is so fantastic, and the scenery is great.
Gorgeous.
I'll go anywhere to go drag racing.
Yeah, and I encourage you guys, and we've had a few people log in here, but Colorado, the drive to Colorado,
Beautiful,
was absolutely stunning, and it's really nice. The downhill staging lanes too is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I encourage it, and that's the thing, Ron, is you're just infectious. You love the racing, you love the motorsports, you love the hobby, so you do your part to try to get out and help everybody. It's funny. I got a good call here from Brad Hill. Hey, Ron, who is older, you or Dominic Lapino? And I don't know if that's a compliment to you or a slap to Dom.
I am. I am.
Oh, I'm sure Rick Sadler will like that one. Rick, how do you like the old jab at Dom day?
But there's a question in my mind as to who's older between me and Keith Soom.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, I am.
Really?
We have a little joke. There's you know who Keith is. You've seen him. It always happens in Facebook on either of our timelines. There'll be a picture of me or him, and they'll think I'm him and he's me. And I'm going, wait a minute, the guy's down here, So anyway.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
Yeah.
But cool.
Love you, Keith.
Good. I can't wait to see a lot of these guys, man. That's the biggest thing.
He would have been over this year, because in doing what I do for the Periscope Enterprises group, where I run the drag races, the drag day and the Bug-In, I of course can't compete. So I put Keith in my race car, mine and Mike Hunsaker's race car, got to get that right, and let him race it. And he runs in Outlaw Turbo, and he was runner-up one time, which is really pretty good against the turbo cars. And he goes, oh, wow, what does that pay? I said, you nothing, but we get $500. Thanks for driving.
Here's a hearty handshake and enjoy it.
Yeah.
How's things looking on your end over there, guys? I see the stream going through nuts. So flag stuff as you get them to go and fire away.
It's got a lot of Brazil checking in. Dutchland was checking in as well.
Yes. My good friends, Roy and Marga Wiesner, I don't know if they're up this late. They're excited enough people to be, and they are crazy. And I got to stay with them and meet a bunch of Dutch Cowlook Club guys. Went to an event over there. And again, it's amazing for me, who's way back in the day, and it's like Southern California is happening, it's hip. This is the only place. The whole world is a Volkswagen scene, and it's amazing. Almost anywhere you go. I haven't been to China yet, but I'm more than willing. Anybody out there who's a VW nut in China and wants to put an old man up for a couple of weeks, I'm available.
Have passport, will travel.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sure you don't mind trying out some of that fine beverages over there.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What that kind of leads into one of the segments here that we kind of. How do you feel? COVID aside, right? And I even hate to spew those words from my mouth, but how do you feel the future really looks for racing and organizations and stuff like that? I mean, it's a legitimate question that's being asked, and and how do you think a lot of these guys are going to recover?
Yeah, even beyond that, when you think in terms of, you see restaurants that aren't making it, that are gone. There's I don't want to advertise for anybody, but there's a Ruby's not far from my house. It's gone. And it's not they closed just for this. It's gone. They're tearing it down. They're building some other brand of something. And it's a little scary. I hope that we can all make this, a thing of the past. Viruses and diseases are going to be around the world for the rest of our life, but this one is particularly pervasive. And if we can get over this and we can all work hard at it, maybe we can recover. And for raceways and drag strips, what's really important is, and I want to say this again, the ones that are still around, like Irwindale. I've heard people complain about Irwindale. Well, I hate the little bump at the end of the lane and how the one lane turns to join the other. But if you don't go and it goes away, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? We've made a bad habit in our history of having things like, I raced at Ontario Motor Speedway in 1970 and 71 and got to the semifinals in modified eliminator. And it was fantastic. And this great big, huge oval surrounding. And it was a premium facility for road racing, for oval high speed, for drag racing. And 10 years later, it was gone. we all of a sudden needed houses, and it's getting to a point to where we can't go far enough away to build a drag strip. So if you love to drag race, don't just talk about drag racing, go drag race. Take your buddies out there, run your street car, get a little grudge race going, and participate, spend money with them. If we don't all work hard at defeating this virus, first of all, and then boosting the economy by using, it's not just because I'm lazy, I don't like to cook. I go out and eat most of the time, Luckily, we have takeout and some really good, my sushi bar still works. All those places still work, Don't be all crowded up around people. Don't make the mistake of making it worse, but participate. Be an American, be involved, and be a drag racer.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, and you brought up a great thing about, even rivalry. If you don't have a full-blown race car and you just want to talk crap with your neighbor who's got an old
race
bus,
is a race.
I encourage you, because those guys embrace that kind of stuff. Go to a guy like Don and say, hey, man, I got to have fun little race. I want to try to stage, or, talk to the guy in the lanes, get in there and go battle with them. And I'll tell you, Steve Sherman, I know out of San Diego, does his Match Race Madness stuff. And he's a damn good promoter about it.
Yeah, they do a great job.
And, I've been fortunate enough to win twice. I have 2 beautiful trophies. Thanks, Steve.
We always like the ones we win. Yeah,
but those ones are a lot of fun. They hype it up properly. It's the best 2 out of 3. And it's, it's $50, man. Go out and bash with your buddies and go, bragging rights, man.
Sure.
Get them to cut your neighbor's lawn or something. Just you can sit there in the lawn chair and have a beer, but anything it takes to get you on support is what it's about.
Well, the Panzers were built on not just the look of the cow look, but built on performance. I mean, we all went crazy back in the day, and dual Webers were like, if you didn't have dual Webers, you're not in. I mean, it was amazing. Not only were we had a certain look, but everybody had a hot rod. And of course that extends today. If you see the Panzers now, and boy, I'm just dying to have our cruise nights come back and all the great things we used to do where, we show it off. We open the rear deck lid and you can look down a whole row of 20 cars and it's dual Weber, dual Weber, dual Weber, dual. It almost gets on and on and on and on, but we love it. So, yeah.
I've been fortunate to watch you guys kind of roll in here and there, and everybody's not afraid to give a little scoot every once in a while and wrap it a couple of times.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So who was the bad? I mean, and then, I know it's kind of hard to say, but who was the fastest, baddest dude back then early on?
Mike Mahaffey.
Yeah.
In his split window.
Like that quick.
In his split window. He had a really nice motor. I built it. And I think he, in the original days, he was the only one in the club to get into the 11s. I think he ran 1190 something. Wow. And so if you're talking about 50 years ago, that was pretty damn good. It was a 2180, which was the size in those days. And we had a really secret connection. We had a guy that not very many people know named Earl McMills. He was up in the Inglewood area, maybe 5 miles from Scat, but he imported Okrasa stuff when nobody knew anything about it. And we got hooked up with him. So DKP had an insight to really good parts and stuff. And then, of course, this company back in the early days, run by Joe Vitone, and Dean Lowry and Darrell were there, and they were in Riverside. So the Orange County Riverside battle was always going on, all in fun, good fun, but it was quite a rivalry, and those days were pretty special. So
that's the stuff that we
want to do it again.
Yeah, let's do it. It's who's going to be the next rival? I mean, there's fun rivalries, like Jesse's got his rivalry with Wink out of the Bergs camp and the stuff like that. And, it's about that rivalry to push you to be better, right?
It's good to see streetcar racing coming back again. David Ruiz, thank you. Thank you so much. Next to Powder Puff, you're my favorite class. Sorry, the women rank first. I never have any trouble with the women, at least at the drag strip. They are always in lane, ready to go, and they ain't hard to look at either. So, but the real street class is fantastic. It's rejuvenated a lot of what I used to think about. We used to go as the Panzers to Lions and to Carlsbad and of course to OCIR, which was,
that's legendary.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to go to the Lions Museum they have?
I have not.
I've been dying to get
I need to do that. I need to knock that on my.
It's in Long Beach. Man.
Yeah.
And then they made a replica inside warehouse that looks just like the original Lions drag strip.
My in-laws live, I guess, in the area where they built where it used to be. So I'm like, where is this at? So I can go check it out.
Yeah, just go. There's a Facebook page dedicated to the Lions Museum. I mean, it's literally like painted people in the stands. They did burnouts on the floor, so it looks like real deal. And they usually have a couple of cars.
It was off of Alameda, correct?
It was off of get off on Cherry Avenue and Alameda.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? I used to go to Lions when the two dragsters would get pushed down, okay, turn around, they'd push them back up, start them, bring them around, turn, and stage them. They didn't have self-start. They didn't have a starting device. Now, after a few years, they had rollers in the ground, so now we push them out, put them on the rollers, and then eventually they came up with the plug-in starters. But the thing I always loved about Lions is when you were sitting next to the starting line and here's the fence, you could almost reach out and touch the car in the lane. I mean, it was that close. It was amazing. Back in the day, how close they'd let you sit. And parts would fly, things would blow up, as they often do, and rattle around behind you. You'd hear them. I remember another story. Schley brothers were on the starting line at Orange County, and they had a problem. The thing was kind of, and he revved it up real hard, and I heard this bang, and through the hood, fiberglass hood, EMPI hood, dual scoops, came a connecting rod, and it flew over our heads and hit the fence behind us. And some young guy started running like, "Don't touch it," because it was hot.
Yeah,
you know how hot a connecting rod would be. But the connecting rod was right down there on the floor. Obviously, Paul didn't stage the car. It was in the burnout, so he never got to make that run.
Some greats checking in too. Brian Hardestay.
Oh,
that's that dude. That dude is on his mind operates on another level.
Brian is fantastic. If you haven't seen Brian's dragster run, you are in for a real treat. That is the most fabulous. As a matter of fact, he put up on Facebook Chicago. He went to Chicago and he won Comp Eliminator. And it's really interesting to hear the announcer talk about what the car is and to watch him just grab onto. I think it was some sort of big block Chevy thing. I don't remember what the car was, Camaro or something, and to just annihilate the guy, and run 8 something, and
Brian,
amazing.
Brian, comment and let us know how many Wallies you got now, because he's got a few.
He's got too many.
Got a few.
I need one. Of course, you'd have to go race super stock racing to do that. But those guys are good. So are the guys in Comp Eliminate. Brian is good.
Yeah, it's this. I love seeing this stuff because that's the cool part about this hobby for me is there's whether you are a bus guy and you want it on bags, or whether you're a drag race guy or just a perfect pristine restoration dude, this community kind of embraces all of it. You're like, it may not be my style, but damn, that's cool and it looks clean as hell.
If you like airbag stuff and you get to England, you go see Evil Ben. If you've never been to Evil Ben's, you've got to go check it out. So if you go over there for the Volksworld show, and he's a little south, so it's a bit of a ride. It's about 150 or 160 miles away from where the Volksworld show is, but it's really worth it. Every now and then you can look. He does the wildest cars. He does airbags and raise and lower and great engineering and very custom, but he does it. He doesn't hack anything up. He's like Pip. Pip does amazing stuff. The people that have come along and put their hands into the Volkswagen scene, like Pip, they do amazing stuff. And we were talking about other clubs like the good folks or the old folks or I can't even remember.
German folks.
Yeah, German folks. There you go. And there's so many amazing people doing amazing things with what is realistically a very limited amount of cars. It's been a long time since they made those cars. So
that's awesome. We had so many great comments coming in. I mean, Mark Pethero checking in.
Hey, Mark. Come on back. We miss you.
Yeah, I'd like to see him back out running again, too. And I'm sure that a lot of people would besides us. And there's a guy on here too that I want to give a special shout out to, Stan Ford. That's another dude that really tries to help the community, both inside the VW, but more importantly outside of there, and what you guys do for the community and
the whole Prado thing, and the Black Star camp out ended there, so they moved it to Prado, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. I even go out there and spend the night, because my idea of camping is usually the Marriott or the Westin. But and it's a lot of fun. And the really neat thing, I'm going to say this about VW people, it doesn't matter if you're a custom guy or a vintage guy or a drag racer or a cow look guy or a bus guy or so on and so forth. We all get along. We all have that passion that comes from that little car from Germany, and it's amazing. We all hang together. It's amazing.
Excellent. Shin shared for those of you who are asking questions about it, Shin from Hobby Dub shared the link on Facebook to the Lions Drag Strip Museum. So thanks for sharing that, Shin, and thanks for checking in.
Yep. Shin's on top of it. As a matter of fact, Shin Watanabe has made the magazine into the thing it is today. And it's not that it wasn't a great magazine before, but he grasped it, him and Shin Mackay, from falling off the planet, and turned it into this 100-page magazine. And they're crazy enough to hire me to be a columnist.
Just imagine what we could do if they live video you some more often, just let you turn you loose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And in my last column, it was in the tribute issue to Daryl Batone, and I had to write about Daryl, and we miss you, brother. We really miss you.
That was definitely
big loss.
A tough one. Brian Freeman checking in says, hey, Ron, won a handful of championships in the desert racing with the F in fat performance. So he's one of those bad guys from Vegas. Him and Rob McCachran, the guys out of Vegas were bad, boy. They go out there and win lots of races. And Brian, I'd love to see you again. Maybe I'll come to the state line or something, and we'll have a little chat and just see how it's going in your life. So, yeah. That'd be the perfect time for you to come, co-drive with me.
Oh!
It's going to happen. I'm going to wear you down. There's like 5 people on my list. Hey, man.
See, the problem here is this is about 18, and the rest of it is 74. But we keep pushing on it. We keep working on it. So, yeah.
Let's keep you young, man.
It's not outside of the realm of possibility.
There you go. You heard it. Breaking news on the EMPI Insider yet again. I just wanted to, I tried to work on Dave Griner just because I want to hear Dave the whole time in the headset.
Yes.
Dave,
are you out there listening?
Oh, I'm sure he's doing something. Oh man. So, one of the other questions coming through too is what is it like when you go to European Bug-In and you get a chance to drive some of those old cars that are brought out, the old gassers and stuff?
Okay. It's amazing. And I want to thank, a number of people, Russell Ritchie, and then of course, Mike Wall-Ravens and Freddie. The track is really nice, but not a drag strip. It's a piece of road that they used to run a famous motorcycle race, and still do once a year. However, it is crowned. So if you're in the right lane, you tend to go right. And if you're in the left lane, you tend to go left. So everybody's going down the track, kind of staying towards the middle. And it's downhill. Halfway down, it's downhill. But the whole idea is cool. And what I've always said is, if I run your car, I promise you this, I'll give it back to you just like I got it. I will not, if it moves around or something, I'm out of it. I don't care if the guy goes past me or whatever, but I will say this one thing. I've never been beaten.
Uh-oh.
I've been at the European Bug-In. I've run numerous times. I have yet to be beaten. So it's either because I have a really good car, or I'm really lucky, or maybe I still know how to do it a little bit. But I'm going next year if the world is in the right place. And come on, let's race.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
However, the very first one I went to, I will say something. Chimay is one of the sponsors. The beer bar was right next to the starting line. Not sort of, but right there. And guys would come out finishing a beer and get in their car, and I'd tell the guy on the car, I'm not running that guy. I'm sure he knows how to handle his beer. I don't drink, and I like a beer. Trust me, I like a good Belgian ale as much as the next guy. But I'm not going down the track with these facilities massaged in any way whatsoever.
No.
But come on out. Bring your cars. You guys have always been so kind to me. The Otto brothers, numerous guys, and they got some really nice hot rods. It's a lot of fun. The car show is fantastic. They even still have a little off-road race. The last time they had the 50-year celebration of the 67s, and I think they had about 40-something, maybe 50 all lined up there. It was fantastic. The only thing I warn is don't go into the animal zone. That's in the parking lot outside the gates from about 10 o'clock at night on.
Yeah.
Those people really know how to party. We went in there one time. I came crawling out underneath people. Don't leave. Oh, I need to. I want to be here tomorrow.
So yeah, some of you may have seen some of the live feed last year. That was my first experience, so I had to take it all in. Let's just say,
Yes.
and we'll say it's a lifestyle event where a V-Dub show broke out at.
Oh yeah.
And I got to partake in the after hours events there, and it was quite interesting. A hell of a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I was fortunate enough to share some of that stuff with Ashland and then Jack Sacchetti.
Yes.
That dude was watching everybody, and we found our way to the DJ buses and everything else.
It is a fantastic show, and everybody rocks the place. The problem is they're rocking all night too. Some of us need our sleep.
Beauty rest. Yeah, you're rolling in the morning.
I don't know about the beauty part, but we need our sleep.
You roll in early in the morning and they're laid out in the grass and the dirt and everything else. But it's a hoot, and I challenge you, and I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. If you are at all a huge, a big VW nut, and you really are, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't go to that event. So you got to do
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it this year more than ever because Heshish is going on. And
every year there are more and more Americans. It was 2 times ago, I think 4 years ago, we had like 9 or 10 DKP guys there at one time, and we have a great picture of us all together with our jackets on at the European Bug-In. So, and at the end of the event, they always do a great picture with all the gassers lined up, and we end up with like 30 or 40 gassers, and it's a great show. I mean, it's just magnificent. Kudos to you, Wall Ravens and Peters. You do a magnificent job.
Awesome jobs, man.
And Mr. Kimball, who is my part-time boss, I want to thank you for being such a big-hearted guy. He sold them the rights to do that for $1 so that it would happen, and that was really fantastic. And now, actually, my new boss is Andy Kimball. He's the CEO now of the Periscope Enterprises, and so we're looking forward to next year. By the way, Big Wednesday is canceled too, so that's not happening. And
we're looking to have Andy on the show.
We're hoping to have a drag day in October. The August Bug-In date is, I hope, postponed, but it's not happening. But maybe we'll have a drag day in October. And if we have a drag day in October, I want you all to come out. Let's fill that joint. Let's show the world how much we dig it. So
we're definitely gonna push it hard here and make sure we sweeten the pots on a bunch of different stuff and just get everybody out here. But I'm really hoping that we can get Andy in here and let Andy kind of talk about stuff. Because a lot of people are asking a lot of questions, and I think it'd be a great outlet for Andy just to sit out and set the record straight on some of the stuff.
Yeah, right.
Ain't going nowhere. So
right on.
Graham Rawlings said, ask him about Ken's 10-second pass in the little digger at EBI.
Keith's?
Yeah, Keith's. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Graham has this fantastic little hot rod, a dragster. And, Keith will drive anything. Keith drove the old EMPI dragster. He drove, I forget, they brought that out. Flat 4 has it. And he's the only one that could fit in it anyway. And he had them funny pants on and all. And Keith, I think it was the first time Graham's little dragster was in the 10s. Correct me if I'm wrong, Graham, but Keith did a good job, and we had a really good time. That was a lot of fun.
That's what it's about.
That was just another one of the exciting adventures that me and that Englishman have, I wish we had more time. I'd tell the story about the KISS boots we got for him so he could drive the race car. And I'm not wearing those. So we put a pillow in the seats because we're at a little different altitude. So,
oh, man. Brian,
I don't know how
Marcus,
close we are to the end, but I want to take a moment to thank you for this. And I always do this because of the Hunsaker race car. I want to thank Cool Tech Motorworks for being so fantastic of a sponsor for the last 4 years. Tom Urbaniak and crew, I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you.
No, man, it's awesome. And that's what it's about, is just sharing the love, sharing the passion that we all do. And, I thank you. I thank you for sitting down and shopping it up with me and looking for many more of these, man.
Any old time.
So, well, there you have it.
I'm looking forward to an event.
Heck yes. Guys, I mean, what an awesome time to sit here. I mean, an hour flew by already. And, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ron Fleming,
the crazy man,
the crazy wild man behind the steering wheel and seemed like in most cases in front of the camera. He finds a second place, second home, and he's damn good job at it. So thank you so much for coming and joining us and hanging out. Guys, as always, I can't do this without you. We appreciate the support. You did break all records so far on this show already as far as attendees. I can already see the counts deep over the triple digits live, checking in on our 1 feed alone. That does not even include all the other feeds and shares. So I'm super stoked about that. We thank you. And we're excited. One of the things that we're big on here right now is just everything that's going and all the new changes and all the new evolution of the new EMPI, the true new, getting back to our roots. You'll see some of the stuff we're doing, the new t-shirts, and I want to set some of that stuff straight because people are like, oh, it's just new merch, stuff like that. No, it's trying to show a glimpse that, hey, we didn't forget where we came from, and we know the sins of the past are not going to just go away overnight, but damn it, we're going to keep fighting the good fight, and we're going to get back to where we belong. And that's on top. So we appreciate everybody tuning in every single week. Thank you so much. Other than that,
Corey Mack, go get him next weekend.
Go get him, Corey Mack, and we'll see you when you guys come back. See ya. Little live.